My guest is Brandon Aubrey, and Brandon kicks footballs for the Dallas Cowboys, all-pro kicker, and you know that he's really good in that code of football. But what you may not know is that he's also pretty good in another code of football that's really important right now. We're at TOCA Social. They're getting ready to have World Cup watching parties throughout the run of this World Cup. Brandon, explain your background in that sport.
Yeah, I grew up in the Dallas area and played a lot of soccer. It was basically my whole childhood. Wanted to be a professional, made that goal happen. Went out to play D1 soccer at Notre Dame, won a national championship there as a freshman, and then was skilled enough to get drafted in the first round. That's where it all went downhill in the MLS draft. Never made my debut in the MLS. Then after one season got cut, went to the USL, played a season there, played pretty well, but my team dissolved and was about ready to hang the boots up, so went ahead and did that.
So one of the things that we did is we wrote and directed a documentary series called Raising Her Game that traces the rise of this sport in this country alongside the rise of women's sports through the eyes of the University of Texas women's soccer team. And so one of the things that we've learned in the course of this was about how the college system in the U.S. feeds the women's pro game somewhat, and has for a long time. Certainly it feeds your current sport, but it really hasn't always been that way in the men's side. What's your take on the role that college plays on the men's side to feeding the pro game?
Yeah, from my experience personally, obviously I went to Notre Dame to play soccer there, and then was drafted in the MLS Super Draft, which takes a couple of kids out of college and throws them into the MLS rosters. Now, soccer's an international game, so that's not the only pathway through. It's kind of a young man's game, so starting out at 23 is a little bit late versus making it to the pro at 16, 17, 18, which is the model for a lot of European and South American clubs. So the U.S. is also trying to, implement that model here and kind of raise their kids all the way through an academy system. So you have 3 different pathways to the professional system here, which is that youth academy system, college soccer, and then just signing players from abroad. So where you don't have those same pathways in most other sports in America, so especially football. So there's a lot more competition than just your fellow college athletes.
One of the things we found when we interviewed some of the college players that we did was that they enjoyed the experience being in college and getting to interact with players from other sports, like in football team, things like that. And then they also cited the educational side somewhat.
Absolutely.
What were there things about that college experience that you might, say to a potential soccer player, well, you know what? Yeah, there are these other pathways, but there are some things college brings.
Yeah, for me, the main reason I wanted to go to college was the education. Obviously, more so back when I was playing, making it to the professional level for soccer wasn't going to set you free financially for the rest of your life. So you'd have to have some sort of backup plan in case it doesn't go well, which it didn't for me, or even at the end of your career, if you're not one of the top, let's say, 5 to 1% of professional soccer players, you're not going to have much of a career in the sport after you're done playing it. So I think it's really important to go get that degree and be ready for life after soccer.
Well, it's certainly especially true on the women's side as well.
Yes.
All right. So one thing that I feel like college football, pro football, and soccer, especially in different countries, have in common is this just incredible passion. And so one of the things that TOCA Social is doing, which you're an investor in, is hosting watching parties. And you have some special components here too. What's to you is neat about that communal experience of coming to somewhere like this and watching a game? Yeah,
for me, watching games with a bunch of friends that are also all cheering for the same result, you kind of feed off of each other. And when you come to a fun place like this, you can meet total strangers that all have the same goal in mind, which is watching their team win. So you can kind of feel the emotions rise and fall at a grander scale, which I think is the nice part about sports. That's why we all play it. That's why we all watch it, is just for the shared experience to kind of escape reality for however long the game is.
And Brandon clearly showed up with the logo of his favorite team.
Yes, absolutely.
Brandon, thank you for joining us. With Brandon Aubrey, I'm Rush Olson.